Alright, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to use vector textures in Illustrator. So I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to go to File, Place. And I'm going to grab my textures folder. And I'm going to grab this burlap texture. And I'm going to go ahead and place that. Now, what I can do is I can go under Window and go to Image Trace. And I'm going to get my Image Trace window here. Now I can choose a color, grayscale, or black and white. If I choose color, it will do the multiple levels. So let's try color first just to show you what it looks like. I'm going to click Preview. And this is going to take just a second. And it's thinking about it. You're going to get the spinny wheel of doom. And it's going to show you roughly what that looks like. And it converts to a vector file. Now, the thing with that is using 30 different colors. The less colors you use, the more bumpy and the more you'll have fewer tones and changes. This kind of is a more true to image to use all 30. Now, if we use black and white, it's going to only make this into a black and white image as you would with Threshold in Photoshop. And it's going to give you this kind of thing. Now the reason I'm doing preview is because it's going to let me adjust. So let's say I wanted to make it darker. And I click that. Well, that's too dark. Alright, so how about maybe there? Too light. And you can kind of adjust this until you get what you want. And if you don't want to fiddle with that, there's a good way to jump back and forth between Photoshop, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Let me go ahead and make a new file and show you how this works with other textures. And this lets you kind of adjust your textures that way. Once I figured that out, I'm going to click Trace. And it's going to be an object. If I want to expand it, I go to Object, Expand. I'm going to choose Object and Fill. Choose OK. And I'm going to ungroup it. And if I select just the white and do Select, Same Fill Color, I can delete it and I'll be left with only the black. And since this is a shape now, I can use it just as I would anything else in Illustrator. I could take it, I can make it red if I want. Oh, I need to go to image mode. Document color mode. That should have worked. Object, sorry, edit. Edit colors, recolor. Really? Convert to CMYK. That should work. Theoretically. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Let's So if you find you're stuck with the grayscale, you just have to click on the object and go to Object, Recolor, Edit Colors, Recolor, or Convert to CMYK. You can also apply gradients to this if you want. So it works just like any other object. Now why this is cool is, like, let's say I had, for example, a t-shirt. This is going to be a really crappy t-shirt, but and I wanted this texture to fit inside this t-shirt. And we're going to make my t-shirt yellow. I'm going to copy it by hitting Command C. I'm going to send this shirt to the back. I'm going to do Command F to make that new shirt in front. And then I click that and that texture behind it. And if I go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make, it'll trap my texture in that t-shirt. And I can even do all of the transparency stuff that you can do on other things, like doing darken or multiply, color dodge, and see how that gives me a bunch of different options for adding texture. Overlay, not going to work. Soft light. So it gives you all kinds of options for blending, and it lets you add texture that's vector. Now this is infinitely scalable, so if I were to group this and scale it down, or scale it up, I don't lose any kind of resolution because there is no resolution to use since it's a vector. So that's why it's neat. So, like, let's say you had a background on a piece and you wanted to add a texture to it. I'm gonna drag this last texture on here. Desktop. Textures. I'm gonna choose that brick. Alright. So I'm going to go to my image trace. I'm going to choose color. I'm going to use 30 colors, and I'm going to hit trace. And it's going to take a second because this is a really complex image. And you're going to get the spinny wheel because it's going to make your computer think pretty hard because it's a huge image and it's pretty complicated. I'm going to expand it so it's all vector shapes. And group it. And that's going to let me fill up my background with this kind of brick texture. Now, why is that cool? Well, if I want to lock that layer and add something new over the top, I can say, all right, well, now I'm going to add my text layer. I'm going to say this is walking tours or something. I can grab that light color from my brick because it's just an eyedropper thing and now it would match. And this is kind of boring. You don't want to just use Arial for everything, but you get the idea. All right, so let's say I've got my like walking tours. I'm going to make a copy of that, lock that top layer, and if I want to take the darkest color on there, I'm going to add it to my swatches. I'm going to make that stroke that same dark color. Up my stroke. And I can add a drop behind it of a color. I can even go to blur. And now everything's vector. And it can be scaled onto anything. But it's still got a lot of texture and ability to it that's gonna, so you can still scale it, make it huge, make it small, and it's still gonna look nice. And those still look like bricks. So that's kind of a nice little way to add texture to your pieces.